Oh, shit.
Oh, gosh, I'm tired. You fell asleep. Yeah.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos, on. How are you?
I'm fine. A little late. I
Good
had to.
Shabbos.
My granddaughter. We had to celebrate her 9th birthday, and just
Oh,
we finished dinner, and so
Mazel tov.
I'm back over from the house into our trailer now. I'm in
that's
Texas.
good.
I'm in
I
Texas.
love
by the way.
your background.
Yeah.
I love your
Okay,
background.
so
Well,
I'm going to
that
mute
background
everybody
was
now.
that background.
Sorry, I just muted everybody so that we can begin. So we're poised to enter into Shabbat right now. And so I'd like to invite us all to, I don't know what your week has been like. My week has been very busy getting ready for Purim and all kinds of other things going on, not to mention, the world. So I'd like to invite us to just take a moment to put aside whatever we might be worrying about or whatever might be weighing us down. Take a moment to see if we can relax any of our muscles that are tense, to take a breath, to make a little bit of space inside ourselves for peace, for joy, for rest, for Shabbat. In the prayer book, we're going to begin on page 126. When I give you page numbers, your book probably has 2 sets of page numbers. The ones I'm talking about are the blue ones that are in brackets. If you only have 1 set of page numbers, obviously you don't have to worry about it. And everything is going to be on the screen as well. Page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach outward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. For the candle blessing, I'd like to invite Janice Isa to come to the Bima. This is on page 120 and 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Amen.
Blessed are you. Like this. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you so much. We are going to turn now to the Kiddush, page 123, and it's my pleasure to invite Robert Rothman to the Bima. I know it's a little tight over there. Thank you.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who, finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai makadesh haShabbat.
Amen. So we are on page 123. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikraye kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Thank you.
You may be seated. Thank you. I'll just mention that our cantorial soloist, Noni Schuster, and our accompanist, Michael Tornick, are not here tonight. Noni was sick last week. This week she is not sick. She is performing at Carnegie Hall, I believe. And Michael Tornick also had something else that was happening tonight, although I don't remember what. You know what? Say it one more time. Performance at St. Edmunds. So that's why they're not here this evening. I am afraid that I don't recall. Which, well, maybe she told me. Hold on. Music of a great Jewish composer, Schoenberg. So that's what I know. Page 130, we're going to open with Lechuna Ranana. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Nekadma Fanav Batoda. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria lo. Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Ladonai. Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Ladonai. We turn to page 264 in the blue bracketed numbers for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. Just trying to focus this a little better. Is that better? Oh, I'm zooming, not focusing. How do I focus? The other one. Woo. Woo. Okay. Now I feel like the eye doctor. Better A or B? Page 265. I invite you to read with me. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 266. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot, hukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha. V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 267. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. You may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 269, I invite you to read responsively with me, joining me on the indented lines. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Page 270. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקעו ים לפני משה. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 271, Hashkivenu. I invite you to read with me in the English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu ve'el kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Yismechu is on page 272. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei mekadeshei shevi Shabbat. Kulam yismehu v'yitangu metuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Zecher lemase v'reshit Shabbat. Zecher lemase v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. I love the idea of keeping Shabbat by calling it a delight, which is what Yismechu talks about. If you call Shabbat a delight, this is observing Shabbat, and it's what we should be doing on Shabbat, not only resting, but also finding delight. And with all of the hard things that are going on in our world, it's moments of delight can help us to keep going. And we should have them in spite of everything. The tefillah begins on page 273. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. You may be seated. Page 277 to 278. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah. Please join me. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We come now to page 281 is Modim, our blessing of gratitude. And it's our custom here to take a few moments at this time in the service to share anything that we might be feeling grateful for today. And so if you're on Zoom, you're welcome to put what you're feeling grateful for in the chat. But also everyone on Zoom or in person is welcome to share out loud. So Art, what are you feeling grateful for today?
I'm very grateful for being here in Texas, helping my granddaughter celebrate her 9th birthday. And we're having a wonderful time. And it's our school vacation time down there. So we're able to go down there and enjoy it.
Wonderful. Celebrating your granddaughter's 9th birthday in which state did you say?
Austin.
Texas?
She's in Austin.
In Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Karen, or wait, actually, yes, Karen. Karen is grateful to be celebrating Purim with everyone at Temple tomorrow night. It is going to be a raucous time. Charlotte is also grateful to celebrate Purim once again. And Lori Pandolfo is grateful for a fun matinee that her sister-in-law took her to for a special occasion. Amen to that. Judith.
I'm grateful for a good report from the hand surgeon during my visit this week that the CAT scan showed that the joint is fusing as it should.
Modim nachnu lach. We are grateful for that. Diane Schenker.
just grateful for my family and for good health.
Amen. Anyone in the room? No gratitude today. Okay. Janice is like pretty emphatic about it. Nothing. All right. What? Yes, indeed, of course. Stan. Okay, Stan is grateful to be able to be in the sanctuary with everybody else and celebrate. And he's happy to put those words in your mouths as well. Amen to that. All right. I
Rabbi?
think I'm going to say I am grateful for all of the people who are working on the Purim spiel and being patient with me and like just bringing their enthusiasm and it's great. And they deal very well with my directing style of, it's your scene. Come forward. Come to the mic. Up to the mic. Up to the mic. Okay, your scene is done. Now go away somewhere. It's very professional. I'm a very professional kind of director. Freema.
Susan Tisler has her hand up. She wants to talk. And I'm also grateful that we're in the Purim spiel.
Yes, I'm grateful that you are too. We need the big Freema energy. Amen. Susan.
I am very, very grateful that the elevator in my building, which was out all day, is working again. And I learned that I am very capable of going up and down 3 flights, holding on to the banister with one hand and my cane to the other, with the other in an emergency.
Well, that is very impressive. Modima nachnu lach for that. That is good knowledge to have. Irene.
Hi, today we had a wonderful Mahjong group and we celebrated Purim and everybody brought in lots of food and we had a great time. And Judith was there and she'll attest to that it was a lovely, lovely afternoon, full of sun, full of drink, full of good times.
I wholeheartedly agree.
What, Judith?
Okay, Judith.
All right. Well, Modima nachnu lach for all of these things. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace, is on page 282 in the blue bracketed numbers. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We have come now to our quiet prayer. There are words on pages 283 to 285. There are words on the screen, if you can see the screen. But of course, we can always use the words that are in our own hearts. We continue quietly. Gesundheit. Iyu leratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai Tzuri Adonai Tzuri Vegoali Vegoali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations in our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. We continue to remember those who are captive in Gaza, over 100 people, the youngest of whom is only 1 year old. This blessing, Achenu, is from the Middle Ages, and it's on the screen. It's not in your prayer book. For all of our family of the house of Israel, fellow Jews and non-Jews who face anguish and captivity, whether on sea or on land, may the divine have compassion upon them and bring them from distress to relief, from darkness to light, from subjugation to redemption, now, speedily, soon, and let us say, Amen. And we continue with a Shabbat blessing for Israel and Gaza, also on the screen by Rabbi Sue Fendrick. May you somehow feel blessing piercing through. May protection find you whether or not those in charge are keeping you safe. May you surprise yourself by seeing God's face occasionally shining through to you on the face of the other. May you feel the startling, comforting grace of God's presence in the most unlikely times. May your head bowed in sadness, fear, despair, anger be lifted up to see a different future. May you envision yourself as a possible agent of an impossible peace worth fighting for. May you live. May you be and see God's image. May the unthinkable never be thinkable. May the impossible become possible. Ken yehi ratzon. May it be so. And we say together, Amen. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. Our Misha Berach, I don't remember what page it's on, I'll tell you in a little bit. If you're on Zoom and have names to add, you're welcome to put them in the chat, as I see people are already doing. Also, everyone will have a chance to add names out loud. It's on page 371 in the middle of the page. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Allison Plummer, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Jody Siegel-Stein, Isaac Hockman, Lennon Safe, Joellen Fox, Valerie Pace, Sarah Bard Ratliff, Kenny Schweiger, Paul Gold, Deanna Roth, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicki Lightnaker, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Freya Kashmir, Delphine Wolf, Liz Yasada, Mark and Paul Steiner, Celia Karp, Anne-Marie Rogan, Marion Mandel, Sharon Zinn, Nicole Moskowitz, Stephen Belay, Patty Cohen, Daniel Silverman, Jeff Lupton, Cookie Valenti, Claude Smith, Rochelle Kimmel, Madeline Jonas, Sarah West, Ethel Gold, Harold Keston, Judith Akulian, Barbara Hopard, Mike Wenzelberg. Francine Benjamin, Lita Rogers, Janet Dankowitz, Joan Marie Pandolfo Cortez, Gina Marie Cortez, Augustine Davis, Damian Colon, Jerome Taylor, Ed Robinson, Joanna Marie, Teresa O'Sullivan, Jimmy Jenkins, Chanel Kamabach, Julette Dale, Maureen Dale, Elena Aram, Warren Feliz, Sylvia Silva, DeAndre Wynn, Jennifer Magoob, Tamia Bethia Williams, Della Holder, John Holder, Vanessa Johnson, Anita Jones, Jeanette Walton, Robert Walton, Bria DeRosa, Princess Kate, Stacy and David Mauser, Hannah Paines, Steve Smith, Evie Quinn, Robin Power, Cindy Rabinowitz, Pat Flood, Martine Narcisse, Angela Napoli, Mila Minich, Edwin Hernandez, Leslie Sedlitz, Sharon Jubileerer, Renee Bash, Batya Angar, Harriet Holtzman, Dr. Helen Kramer, Helen Samuels, Judith Weiss. Art?
Marshall Sorgan, Loretta Umlis, Beatrice McCaffrey, and myself.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Freema?
Maddie Kay, Neil Klein, Arlene Schneier, Miriam Batova, Alicia Serpi, Debbie Kelly, Martin Bennett, Phyllis O'Neill, Barbara Waldman, Elliot Drucker, Kathy's brother Gabby, Hassan Demir, Nancy Demir, Richard Kurlander, Ellie Ferry, Charlie DeRimos, Rivka Leah Bathinder, Benyomin Bat Leah, and David Ben Rachel Leah. Thank you, Diana. Diana Gonzalez.
Diane Schenker? Could you unmute, please?
Robin Power, Cindy Rabinowitz. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Kushner Silverman?
Jackson Tara Kushner, Sherry Jacobs, Carol and Stevie Doppelt, David Gershon, Ruth Gordon, Phyllis and Lori Benjamin, Sarama George, myself. Thank you.
If you're in the room and have names to add, I invite you to rise or raise your hand. Janice? Alan?
Bonnie Greenbaum, Karen Michael, Susie Softy, Freddie Brooks, Howard Michigan, Miriam Michigan, Bill Morgan, Sherry Lynn Stromberg, and any of the Americans that they still keep track of me.
Tony? Thank you. Felice? Stan? Anybody else? We include also all of those who have been wounded in recent, in ongoing wars and conflicts, including in Haiti, as Alan mentioned, in Afghanistan, in Ukraine, and of course in Israel and Gaza, as well as other places, because there are so many places where wars and conflicts are going on. We include those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, and those who have been hurt in recent natural disasters. And I'm going to mention also the folks who had a house fire over in Kensington. Just for all I know, it's still going. Our Misha Berach is on page 371 in the middle of the page. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This week, we begin to read the third book of the Torah, Leviticus, everybody's favorite book, right? Full of laws, very few stories. The first portion in Leviticus, Vayikra, is entirely about instructions for animal sacrifices and grain sacrifices, not just animals. It describes in detail the procedures for burnt offerings, meal offerings, sacrifices of well-being, sin offerings, and guilt offerings. Did y'all do your sacrifices today? Oh, yes. Mark's like, oh, yes, I sure did. So this is a system that, as a mode of worship, is really quite foreign to us. Would you agree? Yes. So for we modern readers of the Torah, this can be a really difficult portion to figure out where the meaning is, what we are supposed to take from it, and yet we read it again and again every year. Rabbi Shai Held gives us an idea of a way that we might connect to this portion today. He begins by talking about creation, which is perhaps more relatable. In the first chapter of the book of Genesis, when God creates the world, what God is doing is bringing order to chaos. The way God does this is by separating things, separating light from darkness, water from land, day from night, and so on. And this is the connection between creation and Leviticus. The concept of separating, lahavdil in Hebrew, is crucial to Leviticus as it is to creation. The Israelites are separated from other peoples in their service to God. And that concept comes up again and again as God is imparting God's laws to Moses in Leviticus. Part of the reason that God is giving them these laws, it seems, is because they are separate from other people. Their adherence to these laws creates that separation and signals its presence. Now, I will say that for many of us, as modern Jews and practitioners of Reform Judaism, as most of us are, the idea of us being separate from other people maybe is a less comfortable idea than it might have been at one time. And we are happy to mix with our neighbors and to share meals with our neighbors across religious or ethnic boundaries. And yet, the idea of holiness for us is an idea of separation. So we might think about, what does separation mean when we want to be integrated with people who aren't Jewish around us? I think it still does have meaning. And I'm going to say also that God's completion of creation doesn't result in a completely orderly world. Look, if we look around us, the world is not so orderly, right? Not even close. And even in the time of the Israelites, there was chaos in the world still. So much chaos, so much that is not orderly, that we cannot control. And the Hebrew Bible acknowledges this. In the book of Isaiah, we read that one day the Eternal will punish with God's great, cruel, mighty sword, Leviathan, the elusive serpent, Leviathan, the twisting serpent. God will slay the dragon in the sea. That's from Isaiah chapter 27. And Rabbi Held explains, in Isaiah's world, God is not yet fully sovereign over all creation. There are forces afoot, dangerous, unpredictable, deadly forces. God will one day slay them, but they have not yet been defeated. And that's what Leviathan symbolizes. Now, maybe you believe that there is a great sea monster, elusive, called Leviathan, and maybe you don't. But there are still monsters in this world. Dangerous, unpredictable, deadly forces. And these are not new to us, and they have many names, including wildfire, cancer, earthquake, tsunami, heart attack, car accident, terrorist attack, hurricane. And what do all of these have in common? They show us how little control we really have, how strong the forces of chaos still are. Our response to these forces of chaos is often to try to find ways to control them. We turn to science for treatments for illness. And I don't know about you, but whenever I go to a doctor and they can't figure out what's wrong, I feel really helpless. I feel like, why don't they know? But yet there's still so much that we don't know and that we can't fix about the human body. We turn to technology to try to mitigate the effects of natural disasters. Have you noticed the giant doors on the Hugh El Kerry tunnel? There are these enormous doors that they put on after Hurricane Sandy, so that I guess if there's a hurricane coming, they can close the doors and seal the tunnel to keep the water out. I mean, I haven't noticed them on other tunnels. That's the main tunnel that I use, but they might be in other places too. So we use technology to try to defend ourselves against natural disasters, and we build walls and fences to keep out people who might want to hurt us. Sometimes these work, but on October 7th in Israel, we saw how they can't always protect us. Hamas succeeded in dealing a terrible blow to Israel on a Shabbat and a holiday, shattering the illusion of safety and control. And now Israel and Hamas have been at war for more than 5 months, and it's terrible. And certainly we here in this room have no control over what's happening there. This particular war is one of many wars that are always raging somewhere in the world, together with other kinds of chaos. And Vayikra's message to us today, with its detailed descriptions that show us how to bring order in one small way, shows us that there can be order in the world, that it isn't all chaos. We can have order, says Rabbi Held, even if it's only in a tiny corner of our world. In our Torah portion, that place is the Mishkan, the tabernacle, an oasis where you know the rules and you know that if you do everything exactly right, you'll be fine. Unlike in the world where you can do everything exactly right and it's still not fine. We might find that bit of order inside our homes, where we can decide, for example, which news and social media to consume or avoid. Maybe part of why you're here right now is that saying the familiar blessings and singing the familiar songs is a comfortable way of finding some kind of order. We are out of control of different things at different times, but we're still saying the blessings and singing the songs that practitioners of Judaism have done for years, and that many of us have done for years too. We don't sacrifice in a tabernacle or a temple anymore. I, for one, am glad of that. But we do crave control and order in our chaotic world just as much as the Israelites ever did. May we hold one another's pain and helplessness in our hearts. May this Shabbat be an oasis of calm. May we find a place or a way to find a tiny bit of order so that the chaos doesn't overwhelm us. May God, in whatever way we understand that word God, be with us, and may we know that we are loved. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
Amen.
We are going to turn now to the Aleinu, starting on page 586 at the top of the page. And if you're able, I invite you to rise. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. Our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months or in past years at this time of the year. Our Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. I'm sharing our yard site list for the coming week to the screen. Those of you who are here in person have that same list in your lavender bulletin. If you're on Zoom and have names to add, you're welcome to put them in the chat, and also everyone will have a chance to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Harriet Laufer, Erwin Cohen, Saul Siegel, Naomi Kirsch, Bio Calendar, Jacques Cohen, Ned Goldberg, Irene Berkowitz, Manny Arnowitz, Judy Silversmith, Kathy Cricky, Marvin Schneider, Joan Lifshitz, Elaine May, Alan Mandel, June Friedman, Harvey Crevoy, Dr. Luis Fernando Salguero, Ellen Block, Bonnie Bezoza, Amitai Ben Tzvi, Doris Present, Marvin Feil, Howard Eisenstadt, Ed Vincent, Rita Weinberg Clark, Joni Rosenfeld, George Landberg, Jack Ehrlich, Richard Golick, Ruth Penn, Joyce Kantrowitz, Joanne Pessin, Carolyn Sukoff Cerulli, Harvey Barkin, Amy Juskowitz Spoonseller, Joseph Shankin, Seymour Kaplan, Deborah Kosman, Leslie Hirsch, Samuel Capsuto, Fred Siegel, Jeremy Briel, Rosalind Baylor, Ilona Schuring, Donna Brines, Marshall Greenman, Ellen Hoyt. Sanford Green, Edith Gonzalez. Art?
Arthur DeMello, Thomas Galvin, Anthony Bianco. Those are the ones I think of in the Shana position, the situation. Thank you.
Freema?
Heather Krugman, and on the list is two people, Arnold Pella, who is Gloria Pella's husband, who I knew very well for a long, long time when we were in Bensonhurst, and also William Cosman, that was the husband of Debbie Cosman, on the list, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you have more?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Also on our list are Fanny Ebert, Sarah West's aunt, Samuel Rothman, Robert Rothman's father, Erwin Silverberg, Yvette Pomerantz's uncle, Aaron Silverman, Sam Silverman's uncle, Menachem Leib Tilchen, Milton Platt's grandfather, and I see Jacques Rosampique, who was the brother-in-law, if I remember correctly, of Rosalind Baylor, who is on our list of recent deaths. Charlotte?
Two names on the list. Lillian Dreisman, who was a good friend, and Benjamin Krales, who was very dear to my heart, almost a brother.
Excuse me, Rabbi.
Go ahead, Helene.
Jacques Rosenpeak was Roz Baylor's brother.
Ah, brother, thank you. That's right, thank you. Anybody else on Zoom? If you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Robert? Yeah, so Robert Rothman is just telling us that his dad, Samuel Rothman, was a member of this temple, which had a different name at the time, but it's right here, this building, Temple Beth Emeth, and that's why Robert is still here. Stan? Alan? Anybody else? We include also all of those who have died from COVID-19, as well as those who have died from other causes, whether in war or famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. If you're able, I invite you to rise and join in, or to participate according to your own custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dam yaran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved here among us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru, amen. A few announcements before we conclude. Big day tomorrow. Tomorrow, our day will begin at 10 a.m. with an abbreviated Shabbat service with no Torah service. At 11 o'clock p.m., we will have a Purim play performed by the religious school kids, followed by our family Megillah reading, which is in English and which is for everyone. Everyone is invited. And at 12:30 to 2:30 will be our Purim Carnival, which honestly is geared more toward kids. But if you want to go, you should go by all means. Then you have a break. You can have a Shabbat Shluf. And then come on back. At 6:45 p.m. will be our Hamantashen share. Bring homemade or purchased Hamantashen in like 3 to 5 per bag. And you can leave yours and take other people's and have a variety of Hamantashen. I'm also going to recommend that if you're coming for the spiel, which starts at 7:15, also come at 6:45 because our theme this year is putting the bar back in Baruchu, which is not only about alcohol, it is about every way you can use that word bar that I could think of, but it's a little bit about alcohol. And so I have made up a custom cocktail that honestly came out surprisingly good. And there is also an accompanying mocktail for those who do not wish to imbibe of the alcohol. And so it would be great, like if you come like half an hour early while you're swapping Hamantashen, you can like also have cocktail or mocktail. And then you will be suitably lubricated for the Purim spiel, which will begin at 7:15. And I don't know, you might want to be like sugared up or otherwise impaired for the Purim spiel. And then that will be followed by the more adult-oriented Megillah reading, which is still in English and still abbreviated. And it is going to be a wild ride. If you're in the Purim spiel, you need to come at 6 so that we can get a little more practice in, because goodness knows we need it. But I think it's funny. So, I mean, I wrote it, so obviously I think it's funny. But I hope you will think it's funny. Freema, is it funny?
It is very funny and very much fun, and everybody has to come.
And there's
Right,
audience
you need.
participation and everything. Okay, but wait, there's more. Sunday at 3 p.m. in the community room is a small group drumming with our congregant Kyle McGee, and that's going to be fun. So come, it says, an afternoon of rhythm and fun. Do you have rhythm? Do you want to have rhythm? Come and drum. Small group opera, 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 26th. Contact Ellen Rothstein if you have not already signed up for Zoom information. This is a new small group. The drummers is also a new small group, by the way. Our small groups are like, you know, small groups of people who are interested in the same thing, who get together to do that thing. So the opera one is, I think they're going to operas, right? Or they're, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but if you like opera, that's the group for you, or a group for you. You can be in more than one. On Tuesday, March 26th, Gentle Chair Yoga and Gentle Qigong with meditation and Jewish wisdom is on Zoom with Drs. Gail Levine-Fried and Bob Fried. You contact Gail if you're interested. The email addresses of these people are in the bulletin. Confirmation is with me at 6:30 on Thursday. Torah study is with me on Zoom at 1 o'clock on Thursday. That's our deep dive into Torah study, where we get through maybe 5 verses a week because we read all these different commentaries on every verse, and we're like examining it very closely. We're in Genesis. We've been in Genesis the entire time for approximately the last, 3 months. We've been in Genesis chapter 41. So it's slow going. That's also a very long chapter. Okay, Tat Shabbat is with me on Fridays at 10 a.m. right here. The Social Action Committee, 4:30 on Thursday, March 28th, is going to have a virtual tour of the Sunset Park Material Facility. I don't know what that is, but sounds interesting and also virtual. So if it's a smelly place, you won't smell it. There is no religious school next Saturday, March 30th, because there's days off in the public school, and we don't have religious school when there's days off in the public school. But next Saturday, we do have a Brit Mitzvah. Aiden Elstein is going to celebrate his Brit Mitzvah during services at 11 a.m. Brit Mitzvah is the term that we use for bar and bat mitzvah because it's non-gendered. The Social Action Committee is also having a Passover food drive, April 1 to 16. Please bring non-perishable, unopened, unexpired, desirable food to the temple office. And that'll be donated to Our Lady of Refuge Food Pantry and our own little free pantry, which is on the Church Avenue side of our building. You can actually even bring perishable foods because there's also a refrigerator over there, but those you should put straight into the fridge on Church Avenue and not like bring in and leave them, unrefrigerated. You can also make a monetary donation, check payable to Beshert if you're still writing checks, and the money will go to the Marks JCH of Bensonhurst. There is a Zoom webinar with Jackie and Yaron Vital. They're going to share the story of their daughter, Adi Kaplun Vital, Zichrona Livracha, who was brutally murdered by Hamas on October 7th. This is sponsored by the Arts Committee at 4 p.m. on Saturday, April 6th. Okay. The temple office will be able to give you the Zoom link. Finally, save the date for our annual journal luncheon, 12:30 p.m. on Sunday, June 9th at Gargiulo's restaurant. The honoree this year it's me. Because it's my 13th year as the rabbi here. So it's my bat mitzvah year of being the rabbi here and also of being a rabbi at all. So there's also that. There's a tzedakah box on your way out of the sanctuary. There's treats in the community room on the other side of the lobby. Thank you so much to Janice for doing the candle blessings and Robert for doing the kiddush. And did I forget anything? I feel like that was a lot. So, all right. You're pointing to Alan. Am I supposed to thank Alan for something? What?
I'm next up on the lecture list.
Okay. It's not in there yet, though. When is your lecture?
Sunday
Oh, that's right. I saw the flyer. The flyer's in the lobby for that, so you can check it out or check your email. It'll be in person. Hybrid on a Sunday, no? Yeah, he's not there, but yeah. All right, excellent. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Yeah. Rabbi,
Yes,
One-
Art.
I would like to thank you for a wonderful service and the church in general for the same thing, and also wish everyone a joyous and raucous Purim.
Thank you so much, Art. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face toward you and give you peace. Amen. And before we go over to the Oneg, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.